just show you the difference between an exhaust system we removed off the car. Now, out of courtesy to the manufacturer, I'm not going to tell you what brand this is, but if you look closely here, you can see already this exhaust system, it's only been on the car for 12 months, the welds have already started to rust, even though this is stainless steel and this is a stainless steel barrel. And have a look around the back here, you can see where the hanger is only being welded together with two different components, but it's got no little knob on the end to stop the rubber sliding off. And also the weld where it connects here is actually not very long, and we've seen situations where this type of weld will actually break off the exhaust system and the exhaust will drop down and then you have a hole in the exhaust. You'll notice that even though it's got a stainless steel pipe, they've only used mild steel, very thin flanges, and the gaskets are also very, very thin as well, and they've actually started to delaminate. And around the side here, even though this is a TIG welded joint, you can see how the exhaust system is made up of several joins welded together. The barrel that was used has actually got a bigger outlet than the 3-inch pipe that it's designed for. And this actually is not the same brand of the rest of the back of the tailpipe. I suspect that the rest of this exhaust system is a bit of a hodgepodge of parts put together. Now this one is actually a twin cat system with a cat converter here and a catalytic converter up the front. So it's got the O2 sensor in the middle, which is actually not that bad, because this car wasn't actually showing any check engine light faults when the car came in. But what I will show you up the front here, which is really, really sad, is you can see how they've had to hit this with a hammer to squash this downpipe so it doesn't rub against the steering column when it's in the car. Now, on this particular exhaust system, we've actually tested many, many years ago running twin pipes, one for the wastegate and one for the exhaust outlet. Whilst it looks very fancy and impressive on the outside, it actually doesn't add any value at all. What it does is actually increases the risk of having a lot more rattles and problems going wrong with the exhaust, and there's more risk of things breaking and failing. The better way to do it is to have a collector off the back here merging into a nice neat 3-inch downpipe. The other ironic thing, which I can show you as well, is you can see here just how big the exhaust outlet on the back of the turbo is by the sign of all the dark soot, but look how small the pipe is. Now this flange here was a design that's actually been copied off us, which we pioneered many, many years ago, but it's actually facing the wrong way, because when the wastegate opens on this particular model, it opens this way, and the gases want to go this way across and down there, but in fact they're directed down there. But this flange here should be like that, and I'll show you on our exhaust system in detail later, but this part here is actually quite restrictive. So what I want to show you here is just one of our exhaust systems, which I've just taken off the shelf, and you can see how much bigger the wastegate outlet is to flow the outlet gases, and this particular flange here, which keeps the gases from blowing across the back of the turbine outlet. Now the reason why we fit this flange inside here is to direct the gases in the direction that they want to go. By having the gases coming off the back of the wastegate when it's on full boost, which is obviously when the wastegate will be opening, it increases the pressure at the back of the turbine wheel, which adds to lag and also soaks up some power. By having the gases go in the direction that you want to, which is down the hole, you end up with a much better result. And you can see from the outside here the way our collector works. It's a much neater way of fitting it, and of course there's much less chance of risk, a lot more clearance around the steering column, so there's less heat being transferred. The radiation, you've got to remember, this all glows red hot when the car's going really, really hard, and of course the last thing you want is any damage to the drive shaft boots on the inner CV, steering column, uni joints, and of course the bottom of the braking system underneath the booster. This is the one half of the ball joint, so you can see this socket fitting here is actually a gasket that is designed to wear into place as the car is used, and this is what allows the other part of the joint to flex and move while still providing a nice, good gas tight seal. Okay, I'm standing in front of effectively what is about little bit less than a month's worth of our exhaust system stock from a manufacturing point of view, because we make all these parts ourselves. And this one here, I just wanted to show you another way where we go to a lot more detail. You'll see this is one of the center exhaust hangers. We don't just weld a post onto the side of the exhaust system, we actually make a proper bracket, very, very similar in design to what Subaru do. The end of the post has a knob on the end of it to stop the rubber hanger coming off, and it's those little things that actually make a difference to the reliability of your exhaust system. Okay, so what I've got here now is a standard engine pipe off the Impreza WRX STI, and you can see here the factory ball joint where it's a little bit worn, where the socket's been wearing, the position of the O2 sensor, which is behind the primary catalytic converter. You can see how Subaru put a flange joint in their system as well. But what I really wanted to show you is up here. This is where that bolts onto the back of the turbo, and you can see the size of the outlet, but this is where all the exhaust gases go off the back of the wastegate, and why our exhaust system gives so much better flow compared to the factory standard exhaust, which in some ways can be quite restrictive. What I wanted to show you here was one of the most important things that is often overlooked when you're upgrading your Forester and your WRX. Around the year model of 01, 02, 03, the cars come with a tiny catalytic converter in the up pipe. Now that's the pipe that leads up to the turbo, not after the turbo, so it's on the engine side of the turbo. And if you look closely here on this cutaway one, which we have on our showroom sales wall, this is actually the catalytic converter, which we've broken away to show what it looks like. What can happen is that catalytic converter is highly restrictive, so it sucks a lot of power out of the performance of the car. But what it also does is, if you are running that pipe in a high load situation or the car's not correctly tuned, that cat converter can fail, and the unfortunate thing is when it fails, it goes straight up into the turbo and blows your turbo up. What you need to do is replace it with a catless up pipe, and this is one of the MRT catless up pipes. It's a high grade steel with a flexible joint in the middle, and that replaces the catalytic converter in the up pipe. Now the thing that I'll point out is, unfortunately on the market there are some up pipes that are relatively cheap that don't have a flexible joint. The factory up pipe has got a built-in flexible joint that is very hard to see in behind the heat shields, hence the reason why the MRT system has also got a flexible joint. And the reason why is because the exhaust manifold glows red hot when the engine is running under load, and you need some movement for the expansion and contraction of the components between the exhaust manifold and the turbo. So there you have it. Now you hopefully will understand a little bit more about what to look for when you're choosing your exhaust system. And one last bit of advice. Gone are the days where you could fit an exhaust system to most turbo cars, particularly turbo Subaru Imprezas, Liberty GTs, WRXs and so on. You have to match them with a correctly tuned ECU, because the boost control system, the fuel, the ignition timing, cam timing, all changes, and you might find you're investing in a really good exhaust system which after a couple of days the ECU will detune itself, and then it'll either be going worse than what it was to start with, or it'll be very, very unreliable. For more information, of course, you can follow our website for more videos. You can download the audio files, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Flickr and of course YouTube. I'm Brett Middleton. I really hope this video has helped you. Thanks for watching.